Well, your son is 1 year old now,
Yeah.
I think, yeah? Yesterday?
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it still fascinates me that you said, well, at first I wrote the music and
Yeah.
then I picked the themes. Did you feel abandoned too?
Well, to be quite honest, when I found the abandoned cities, I felt that there was quite some similarity in this kind of place where you are when you are dealing with your own life and putting that in perspective with others and with the things that you want to achieve. I feel that at that time you are, when you're working on something, you are totally aware that this will be like a creative process that is intense and that will be over after that, and then you have to continue, but at that time you are in a very, like in a box, and you feel maybe like sitting in an abandoned house in an abandoned city, and at some point you come out of that and you take the car and you drive in the social life again, and in the first place that sounds very depressive. Maybe it could sound depressive, but it's maybe a natural resource that is very powerful, that you can actually go in a kind of room in yourself where you feel lonely and maybe confronted with what is in you, and that at some point you can decide that you want to have contact with others again. And in an abandoned city, I have the impression when I see pictures, just by watching them, I have the impression that there's so much involved. There's a old history, there is the emptiness of it, but then there's also the hope that then something will come back, like something new, or nature is coming over. I think in Elizabeth Bay there's now the biggest population of seagulls, so suddenly animals come in, plants start to grow. You could imagine that in the house where you live right now, in 300 years, maybe the place is gone and nothing is left over. Not only the house, but also the whole street is not there anymore. And in a way that is somehow totally coping with what I'm going through while I'm creating. I'm really I'm going through this like feelings of sadness, happiness, beauty, endlessness. At the same time, I know that this will end.
But is it for you sometimes hard to work then by yourself?
No, not at all. Well, I did a couple of collaborations in the last on the last records, but I think both is important. I mean, not to be constantly by yourself, but I think it's very important that you find an own attitude to be able to work with others, because otherwise you can't express what you want. I know, of course, you can't time that. Sometimes you go in a process of working together and you have no idea, but at least you have maybe. I did Abandoned City as a record as well to make a statement where I am at right now and how I feel or what I am doing when I'm doing music by myself.
Is this an important album for you? Because you released many albums last.
Yeah.
I think since 2004 you released 10 or 11 albums.
Yes.
Is this an important album?
Yeah, it is an important album because in a way I went through a lot of albums that were connected with musicians that are very influential for me and that I really like, and I learned a lot from them. The last one was with Hilary Hahn, the violinist, that was and is still something that I'm appreciating so much, working with her, and I think hopefully we'll continue this working process, as well as with Samuli Kosmin and the drummer from the band Moom. We are working together now a long time, and there are plenty others. Henrik Schwarz, for example, the DJ I did a collaboration with. So all these musicians I have a lot of fun to work with, but on the other side, it's always good to go back to what your ability is, and especially with the piano, it's an instrument that you can easily have a solo record with, which I think is with a flute or with something that is like a kind of monophonic instrument. It's not so easy. I know that there are people around that are doing that, and I totally appreciate that, but it's with a piano, you can actually create a lot of different types of music, and so for me that's very important, and maybe that's why I left God's Favorite Dog at some point, to to find a way to create music by myself and finding an own style.
So this album is for you celebrating your own style and showing who you are.
Yeah, and going back to a kind of or setting a kind of statement before I'm moving on to continue collaborations.
Okay, thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.